Welcome to another episode of Talk to the Doctor. And this morning, I have the distinct pleasure to be sitting here with board builder, surfer, let's do it the other way, surfer, board builder, Timmy Patterson.
Yeah, great to be here, Gaby.
Yes, sir, and it's great to have you here, my man. I'm telling you right now, I'm super stoked to have you in my studio. And I really want to just jump into, like, with you, it's like, where did it all start? Because I know with you, there's a phenomenal background and backstory with how you got to be where you are today.
Yeah, well, it kind of started with my father moving from Hawaii to San Diego, Windansea. He was kind of part of the original crew there. I wouldn't say the original, but the 50s
When
crew.
did he move from Hawaii to the Windansea program?
I'm not exactly sure.
Give or take.
I'm thinking around 56, 57.
And where was he in Hawaii? Was he on Oahu?
Yeah, he was on Oahu. So
Amazing. Think of that
I think
back
they
in that
actually
day,
had
huh?
their own little spot that they call Patterson's for the Patterson brothers because they all surfed together. And
A surf spot?
yeah.
Sick. Do you know where that was?
No,
Was it South
somewhere
Shore?
I think it's more towards Eva Beach.
That's right. I
Kinda
was
by-
just thinking that.
Somewhere in that zone. They're from
That's what I
Manoa
was
Valley.
thinking. It was
and-
over there.
Yeah, so it's pretty, just to know that. But then he got a job at Hobie Surfboards in Dana Point, and I think it was 61.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
So he moved to Dana Point, brought his two kids. He had my brother William and my sister Diana.
Okay.
And then I was born and raised in Dana Point. Still literally live 10 houses away from where I grew up.
How cool is that? Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
gosh.
pretty
Just-
rad, you
just
know?
feeding the roots. Just
Yeah.
feeding the roots. Super awesome.
So going into,
boom,
you know,
and he came here. So he started at Windansea, did his thing there for a few years, then popped up here to Dana Point because he had a job at Hobie. In
yeah,
1961.
his older brother, which was Robert, he's like, hey, there's jobs up here. You got to come up. Then a couple of years later, I think they sent for their brother. You got to come over. There's jobs. So they all worked at Hobie's together. And so me growing up, you know, my mom, I was always in Hobie's, bringing dad lunch, you know, and a beer and a pack of smokes in one hand. Fucking crazy.
Wow.
And a lunch, you know.
Incredible. So they were right down there at Hobie's, back there in Capo in the back
Capo
area, right?
Beach. And that's where I got my start, you know.
Okay.
Like, so before that, then forward it till, you know, surfing Doheny, Poche, you know, that was our deal. Like, right in front of Walter's house,
Yeah.
you know. You're like, yeah, this is a spot, you know.
And it seemed like it was it was pretty decent back. I don't know, the waves, I don't know. We always talk about the waves were better back then. Everyone says that, but it kind of was. Right?
It's just a lot of sand gone.
A lot of sand gone.
Yeah. The amount of sand that's gone is,
Phenomenal.
you know, 50, 100 feet of beach that
Yes.
we're surfing over now.
I know, it's weird because I used
Instead
to
of
run
laying
that
on the beach.
I used to run that beach.
Yeah,
it was
it
runnable
was
at all
great.
times, and now it's like there's no beach.
Yeah.
It's weird. Anyway, that's a whole nother
So,
story.
but it was, you know, my dad was a sander down at Hobie's. My uncle, he was one of the laminators. And my other uncle, he was pin lines and glass coat, you know, working with Danny Bronner. So,
wow.
so it was cool. Then when I finally, I think I got a job. I was like a busboy for half a summer because I got fired. I fell asleep at work. And,
my gosh.
and my dad always pushed me to get a job, and he hated that I did ding repair. And then I started finally working for him, hand sanding, and you know.
Still, ding repair wasn't a bad start. I mean, you're learning some
No,
of the
you're
craft.
learning
you know?
a craft.
Yeah,
I mean,
you know, yeah.
I still do it. It's crazy.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, you know, I could see, but it was cool that he had that drive for you to, you know,
Yeah.
follow up, you know, like the
Well-
carpenter dad that wants his son to be the carpenter, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just an awesome
So
thing when
yeah,
a dad's
doing
got a
that,
trip.
you know, my dad was making skateboards, laminating boards in our garage. You know, he'd
So
make.
cool. Do you remember the brands or anything with all that? Because skating was
They were
young
called
then, huh?
Flexi Flyers.
I remember those.
It was there was different styles, or there was a couple different.
Was he doing the flex ones?
Yeah,
had
they're
a flex board.
wood, plywood, and marine ply,
Oh
and
my gosh.
had a picture of Mike Weed on the deck. It was cool.
I remember that. Oh my gosh.
But I don't know, it was so fun. And then, you know, then I started shaping out of my garage. You know, my dad hated it. I mean, I remember shaping a board in my backyard. Just
Why did he hate that?
he just didn't want it at his house.
Oh.
Like, you got to get a job. And I'm like, okay. Well,
But still, and then where from there, from that first seminal moment where you shaped your first board, which was, do you know, like what year was the first board you shaped? Do you remember? That hand-shaped board in your backyard garage.
Oh, my God. I think it was like 79.
Okay.
I think I got a picture of Mike Muir glassed it at Hobie's.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
And then getting a
gosh.
full blank from Brad Basham in the alley, in the shop I'm in now, you know, it's crazy. I'm like, wow.
In the shop you're in now?
Yeah, that's where he used to sell blanks.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, okay.
You know,
So,
out of his
yeah,
glass shop.
Sure.
So I have that glass shop now.
Yes,
and it's
you do.
coming up on 30 years I've been in that building. Like
It's
next month, I'm
staggering.
like, wow.
Staggering to me.
But I learned how to do it all. Now there's machines so you can go in and fine sand a board, which is killer, you know. It's killer to do, but learning how to do every aspect from making the fins, like cutting them out, making them, putting them on the board, glassing them on. Then you got to sand them, hot coat them, and laminate, airbrush, do every aspect to a full production level. It was pretty gnarly.
Very gnarly. And I've got to say, in this modern era, I mean, kind of uncommon when you would think of the way surfboard manufacturing is now, the fact that you handcraft board builder from start to finish. I mean, the finished product shows it.
I still do it. Like I'll go in. I had to do a few months of lambing every day. Couple months ago. I was like,
Because someone quit or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you had to get in
so
there.
I'm like, here I am again.
I know, but it's really cool. I don't know
I
if
mean,
you
I
felt it was cool when you
still
were
have
doing
to.
it.
I still have to put on fins, the glass ons, because it's a lost art.
It's a lost art.
You know, it's like I'll look at a lot of videos online and the groms that are doing it now. I'm like, oh my God, that kid's so cliche. He's got the surf t-shirt on and surf trunks, you know, long hair. And I'm like, I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, God, these guys look funny. And I'm like, oh my God, I look just like that. I had
Exactly
longer
like that.
hair
Yep.
and more grubby.
Yeah, we lived through that era with that style. And just the idea of something that's, you know, someone that has so much passion for the craft that they literally did learn every process and brought to the world their product, being you, something that has that kind of devotion and dedication to the craft. I mean, it's just, I can say your boards have always had that special quality that I think you get. I mean, look down in the alley in the surf ghetto. I mean, there's a lot of people building boards, right?
There's a lot of people building boards.
Right. But I mean, I don't know if anyone loves the craft start to finish like you do, and that you've built your brand around that.
Yeah, I mean that's what's really cool, you know, to be able to walk in the morning and surfing it in the evening. Like I just made it this morning. I had an idea and it had to come out. I had to see it. You know, with board manufacturing in the late 70s and early 90s or 80s, you weren't going to get that. You know, you're going to get a board and, you know, maybe a month or two later,
Damn.
you're going to get it. I'm like, I wonder what this would work like. And I'd do it overnight.
You can turn around a board and be riding it. How quick? Shape it this morning.
Probably 6 hours.
You could
Everything's
ride the board the same day you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But that was the joy of being in California. You know, you got Salt Creek, Dana Strands, Capel Beach, Lowers. You got the whole zone. It's like,
Yeah, let me go test.
you got a racetrack. You got, you know, you tune up your car. You don't just leave it in the garage. You go zip it around, you know.
Yes.
So that's what was so cool about this area. That's where so much design came from. It's because
Yeah,
you
that
could
makes
do
so
that.
much
You're like,
sense.
I don't like my board. I'm going to go sand down the fins a little bit. Oh, it's loose now. Bitching. You know, that kind of
Just
stuff.
cool-
And you
just like-
bring it to the public. You're like, hey, you got to try my board. I made the fins a little smaller, and they try like, I want one just like it. So that was a Stoke. You just get that adrenaline going. You're like, as what I like to do, you know.
So much why I flipped it and make sure I said surfer board builder, because you're really at the core a surfer that loves building boards, but you're really a surfer. You really like to understand the dynamics of each subtle quality of the rails and the fins and the foil and everything, the volume, the whole thing.
It's like
comes to play.
where to put the fins, and if I put them here, is it going to change? And experimenting and Like, I don't like them there, and that, wasn't a fin system. Buzz them off and put them at a different angle, everything. And, wow, there it is. Then you measure that. That's the new go-to.
Yes.
Basically, it's like your V8. How to
how you're
fine-tune
tinkering
that.
with your V8
how to get a
all the
little
time.
more horsepower out of it. So
And
for
tighter
me,
in the corners with the suspension, and that'd be the fins. And
the edges around the fin area. And there was guys that would just bring it home. Like, Pato was great with that. I'd make him a board, and he would just go ride it. But that was the cool thing, is he could go ride it that morning and come back. Dude, kind of slides right here. And he goes, it feels a little sticky, and I just sand the rails right above the fins and toward the tail a little bit, tuck them. He's like, you go ride it the same day, and he goes, magic.
oh
I'm
my
like,
gosh.
oh my God. And Dino, he's a freak. I mean, he knows so much about surfboards. It's amazing. You just pick it up and go, that's heavy. And I'm like, you're on glue. But he's totally, you'd feel it like, God, he's good.
Yeah.
You need those board connoisseurs.
Yeah, because look at him. I mean, he started from nowhere. I was there right then when it was like McElroy or someone gave him his first board. Someone gave him a board when he was a Grom, right? And he didn't come from any surf background, so everything he learned just street up, like just from the feel. Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing his story. How close. We've
Well,
been for
because
decades,
that's a
and
McElroy thing.
Yes.
He was one of the first guys that would really just feel out a board. You're like, because I'd work at Hobie's, and they weren't grabbing the board after dialing it in and checking it out.
Was that a little bit more of a production line at that point?
Yeah, that full production to super roots, upper surfing. I need a board for that. And McElroy had these wide tails on it. Just like, that thing looked funky, but
Boy, did they work.
man, they worked
Oh
so
my
good.
God, they had so much planing errors. We're talking about Chris McElroy, right?
Chris
let's
McElroy.
let's give a little moment to Chris McElroy,
Yes.
right? May his soul rest in peace, okay? Because he really did, in a way, like when Martin Potter came to town, in a different way, but in a way, he brought this kind of lightning rod energy,
Yeah.
and it's just like, right, and all the reverberations. People do look back and see that when Potter came to town, it really did light a fire here. And then I want to say, I think like there was something about Chris McElroy's energy and what he did here, and as he brought his shaping and what he did with people and the boards. I gotta say, I mean, I feel like his style and his energy, not just his boards, but the way he worked, just his whole thing. He lit another fire, and that was at a certain time.
That was a total another level, because there was board building, Hobie Surfboards, where I worked at, and it was just kind of, it hit the top of their level. And then Herbie's like, hey, man, you got to go help this guy, McElroy, down in San Clemente. And I'm like, okay. And I quit Hobie's. So I got to work with...
That's a big moment, right?
Yeah.
You
I'm
quit
like,
Hobie's
okay.
to go work with this guy, McElroy.
But his boards were so good. Everybody had them,
Incredible.
And just
Magic
the way he
boards.
would look at a board, I'm like, I want a little more of that.
Yes.
Because that's what I was already doing. I had a little bit of direction, and he had this direction.
He had a vision.
He had a vision.
For the state-of-the-art surfing at the time that he was building the boards for, that had just a little more, I want to say, foam. I mean, there was just something.
There's way more performance. He loved his beak noses, and
Yes.
he'd work on the bottom. Here's my triplane bottom, whatever it was, and his bump wings. And
God, they worked, though, man.
remember the stingers he used to make for Dino?
Yes.
He had that little sting, and he
Yeah,
had
yeah.
this little beveled edge, and I just like,
That was a trip.
yeah.
I
and
never
they worked
really.
so good.
They were so loose and everything. It wasn't really my style. I need a little more rail in the water, but I mean, yeah, that was a moment right there. That
Yeah.
was a loot. That was just a free. That was like free, right?
Yeah.
A free moment on the wave. But I think when it came down to it, where it really went was a carvier line with the buoyancy off the tail, especially to really just be free, but a little more drivey. I feel like that system was a little loose.
I felt at the time that he was shaping, that was a breakthrough of really high performance surfing. Merrick was already doing it. Then McElroy's and Rusty are they were neck and neck to
True.
McElroy. Like, I'm like, okay.
That's true.
He would take off, go surf
Indo and
Nias,
Yes.
Indo, and I'm like, and I was the back shaper, so I'd have to do all his production. I'm like, oh man. And then he'd come back and just not work for a month. You're like, dude.
come on, get back in. So you kind of started out. You left Hobie. did you say that?
But I already had my own brand going pretty good.
And what was that?
Synthetic.
I remember Synthetic. Okay,
Pathetic.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so nothing like humility on the Talk to the Doctor. The thing is so you started off, the left Hobie had Synthetic, and then you worked, you were just like, not a ghost shaper, right? I mean, you were working with Chris McElroy, right?
Yeah. Well, Herbie brought me down there actually to do the Christian Fletcher boards. He's like, hey, we need to get these boards out. And this guy's kind of, he's not doing it right now. So I'm like, okay. So I joined the club down there.
And that was down there in the alley.
Yeah.
In that little spot he had. Right?
Philabar. Remember Philabar back in the...
I was with it. I saw him last night. I saw him last night. We have projects we do. Tom Philabar. I grew up with him. Yeah. I do know very well.
So, yeah, like that went on for, I think I was only there for maybe 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And I was doing kind of a lot of boards, and I felt like this is McElroy's deal, so I kind of want to do my own thing. There's a little too much going on, too much partying.
Yeah, they
like
to
out
party,
of hand.
And that's what
it
took
was
him
out
down
of
the
hand
long
for
run,
me.
sure.
I couldn't handle it anymore.
Way too much. I mean, amazing.
I mean, it
amount
didn't
of partying.
stop there with me. I had to pull my head out, and
Sure.
and I had a vision of that's not my life. I'm not that style.
Yes.
But I had to get out of the bullshit and focus,
And so was that when you saw one of those units down there for rent?
Yeah.
Okay. Right
So-
then, like, Chris was over here, and you just saw a unit for rent. Was the first one was the one across
Well, actually,
from...
I moved out of there. Then I was over at Nudo shop or Herbie Fletcher's.
Oh, in the
shop.
back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, in the
I
back.
I built a full shaping room back there, and
Okay.
and the start of Lost, I got to work with Mayhem, and he was so funny then. He just this long-haired guy.
Yeah, he was definitely different
And
then. Yeah.
he was, but he was really interested, and he was really doing it. It wasn't like just that.
He was committed to the project.
He was such a promotion guy. You're like, damn.
Yeah, he knew
I
how
could
to
never
market.
do stuff like that.
And then he joins with, Mike Riola Muck, and he's a marketing genius. I mean, they just kind of, wow.
They made some magic. I remember one day, I think it might have been Riola came up and he goes, hey, you want to shape boards for me? I just had enough orders to keep pretty damn busy. I'm like, I can't really do that. I got too much to do. So
It's a good problem to have, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but to build a career and survive off it, it's amazing. Keep a crew busy, have a livelihood for them. Stuart's done it with his crew,
Yeah.
Kind of think about that.
Wow.
San Clemente brought so much to
The surf world.
surf world.
Big time.
To be able to still surf and make surfboards with all the boys,
Totally the coolest thing ever. It's totally organic.
For me, it seems like that time in the early 90s, the party scene was just a little out of hand to where nowadays it's not there.
Yeah, because you can't really be competitive if you're doing that.
No.
You're just done.
No.
Yeah.
So, and then to just continue what I do, making boards for Matt Archbold. And I mean, and Christian Fletcher. Christian was just a different, Matt could care, I'd make him a board and it was so cool because I'm like, wow, that kid surfed really good. I didn't really know who he was so much, but I'm like, wow, that guy, he surfs good.
Incredible how good he surfed.
And then Christian he had ideas.
Yes.
Slot bottoms, grab rails.
Totally.
And
He was a
just,
whole
but
different
he
influence.
was just like,
mind-blowing.
yeah.
Blew minds.
He wanted a skateboard.
He wanted a
on a wave.
skateboard on a wave.
And that's what he said. I'm like, okay,
I'm gonna
let's
skate
do
on
it.
a wave.
So I made the weirdest little boards always for him.
And he was just going, pop! He's just going, wow. Like,
But that was a progression of surfing. It's if you can't do that nowadays, it's like, oh, that guy.
yeah, kind of. I mean, I look at the, I just want to go back one bit when you talk about party shape and the whole thing. I want to talk just a little bit about, I think that almost one of the guys for that, which we all love so much, and he's passed, they've all passed actually, is Randy Slay.
The Slay Dog.
Slay Dog,
I got to
wow.
work for him down at. He was working at Hobie's for a while, so I had to find sand for him, and man,
Ooh.
that guy was fun.
He was so fun and so cool. And when you think of I just had to go there because, you think about Chris McElroy and that kind of energy of.
Yeah, I think that's who the next level from Terry Martin to Terry Sennett. The next level for me was those two. And
Yes.
Like, the nutsiest guys ever.
The nutsiest guys ever. But it's just crazy, but they're so good, and they had some sort of fire inside them that was unparalleled. Like,
Yeah.
I think of all the memories I have with, Randy Slay and just everything. Like, just, God, there's so many stories. I mean, but just, he's kind of was like Elvis to me. I mean, it was
Yeah.
like an Elvis vibe.
You're
Like,
like-
he would walk in, there would be, you go out at like Margarita Village or something back in the day, whatever.
He's got
the
his
villa
boots and
yeah, he's got his
got-
leather jacket and his boots. He walks in, he's so slick. He had so much panache, and it's just so much personality, and he just
Yeah.
made incredible boards, and he was just like, that was like a Rockstar Shaper vibe. Like, he was like a rock star.
he was a rock star.
He was a rock star.
You had him and
Chris
McElroy, king of the air guitar.
Just complete rock star vibe, like, but then they shaped so good, and they had this whole irreverence to the whole deal. They were like, they never kissed anyone's ass. They never did whatever they wanted to do. They always did whatever they wanted to do. I mean, and like, so I just want to give respect to those roots,
Yeah, definitely. They did their own thing. No one
They did their own
really.
thing. And their own thing was wild. Like, a lot
yeah.
of people do their own thing, but it's not that eccentric,
They're another level.
They really were. So,
I could never keep up with them. Like, time for me to kick out.
well, they couldn't keep up with their own self in the long run. But, what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, like, here we are, and they lived through their legacy. And we want to so glad to have you here to give respect to that. You started kind of through some of those pipelines and give respect to them for what they were and what they did. And then here we
Yeah.
are. So what was the first shop you got? Like, was that the one across the street from, was that the first one? Or which one was the first one you rented? Like, for
Oh, that I rented? It's kind of where I am now. It's only a few doors away. I think there's a...
Isn't it all the same landlord, the same guy? Because
I don't know anymore, but
Oh,
it was...
originally,
who's
was that
in my
one
shop
guy-
right now is Eric Rumner.
Oh,
Rumner.
yeah, Rumner. Yeah, well, of course.
He's one of the few that builds his board start to finish
Cool.
and shapes. I mean, he's
does the whole thing.
amazing. He's nuts.
He doesn't send them out to get anything done. They're all done
No,
in-house.
he's top of the line. Like,
Incredible.
so it's just like, and he worked for me, so I got to work with all these guys that have a very high level of
Craftsmanship.
craftsmanship and the look, and so we're in the mix all together. So we're all stirring the pot, making a fucking great soup, almost.
And here we are today with that soup, right? And let's push forward right to like where here we are, and you're shaping boards for. Let's talk about your riders. I mean, this is an amazing story.
Wow, we got from Italo, Ferreira. I mean,
Come on, let's
That's
just
just-
stop with Italo for a second.
Yeah.
My gosh, what a talent! Well, look what he's done. Is it one title or two?
one.
One title.
He's
and
going for it right now.
He's in the mix again, which is amazing. And then, so he's in the top 5 at Fiji coming up, in a few days.
Yeah.
And I want to say he is also an Olympic gold medalist.
Yes.
So he is he's won the world title on the Timmy Patterson and shape boards, right?
Yeah.
Just crafted, board built, start to finish. I mean, and for him, custom board for him, for
Yeah.
his side, everything. And he goes out and gets a gold in the Olympics, and he's in the mix basically every year. I mean, he's just blowing. It's insane how good
Yeah,
he is.
it's amazing. I mean, like when I think to the beginning, you're just like, oh yeah, I just made it through all these years, and you're just like, how's a kid from Dana Point in a garage, just surfing the local breaks, go from there to all the way to Olympic gold? I'm like, it blows my mind still. Like,
And it blows my mind as well. And
like I
just,
look at it, I'm like, wow, we gotta.
look what I did.
And that's all off my hands, and the people that I'm surrounded by, and the back shapers to all my workers.
It's because of your love of surfing, my man.
Yeah.
It's because your love of surfing is so core inside of you that you really wanted to build boards that just represented the cutting edge of performance, because you
Yeah.
love that. You see it all over you. It's ridiculous. Who loves more than you? No one loves more than you. Maybe they could love similar amounts, but they don't love surfing as much.
Well,
I mean, there's a lot of shapers that don't surf like you.
I'm into
I'm
the
just saying, you're a
super-
really good surfer at the same time.
Yeah, I'm
See, a lot of
into
people
the
shape, they
super
don't surf that
detail
good.
stuff,
I
too.
know, but look what the results of it. I mean, Italo is such an insane talent.
Yeah, I look at that and just go, oh my God, that's what you wanted to do when you were a kid, when you're in school and you
Yes.
made a little surfboard and you're playing with your papers and
Yes.
like I want to
Thinking
surf
about
like
what
this.
you could want to do on a wave.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't be able to do it with the boards built back then. The ideas I had to do stuff on a wave or a skateboard, there was no, it was
No.
only in my imagination. There wasn't equipment for it. And then little by little, you know, like we talked about, guys like McElroy kind of opened the door.
Yeah.
You yourself, certain people that all of a sudden now are shaping boards where, I mean, look at Yago, all these guys, you just look at what they do. You're like,
Yeah,
God,
like-
they're totally free.
Yago, you just look at that and it's just there's the guys that in the Colapinto brothers, they
Yes.
have Cole Hausman, they got such
Yes.
a high level of surfing. And
Incredible. Even the, you know, Jet and Cole, I mean, there's so much, you know, people say about San Clemente, like, what's in the water? Well, what's in the water is our ocean. You know, people are in the water here, you know. People love to surf. This is a surf town. It'd be like being in Aspen and not
well,
skiing
it's
or
kind of
snowboarding.
there's always an inside competition, I feel. Yeah, like,
Yes.
you
very
know,
competitive.
hey, who didn't want to get the best barrel of the day?
Yes.
Doesn't matter where you're at.
Yes. And
You
we just
know.
have enough people here to keep fomenting that
Yeah.
urge. And there's a real
You're
healthy.
like, I got to do that. I'm going to get one today.
Yeah.
You're the first guy out in the water. I got one this morning already.
I mean, even if it's 2 foot crappy T Street, right?
Yeah.
The kids are out there just scrapping. It's just, there's something about that energy, that competition. And because guys, the first guys like Dino and the boys, and, you know, I like to ask this question. Do you know that San Clemente has, to this date, has only had one world champion that, you know, non-longboarding.
yeah.
And I'm not, you know, in ever. And I would just ask you on a trivia question. Do you know who that might be? Of all time, ever. We've never had, but we have had one.
World champion?
Yeah.
Oh my God. No, I don't.
So in 1972, there was a dude named Rolf Arness. And there was before the tour, so it's, you know, it's a little bit of a curveball question because it wasn't
Yeah.
since PT and Ian came and they did the tour and then blew the whole thing up. But I mean, literally a few years before that, Rolf Arness, who lived at Cotton's, and his dad was a major TV actor, James Arness, was on Gunsmoke.
Yeah.
Okay. He won the 1972 World Championship.
Oh,
and he's
that's
from San
sick.
Clemente. And I mean, I've always been and who ever heard of that guy again? Like, he won the World Championship, and where's Rolf Arness? He's still alive. Who's ever heard of the guy again? It's kind of a misto story that always stokes me out.
Yeah.
It stokes me out. But anyway, we do have one. I have a feeling that, you know, at some point soon, we're going to have another one, you know? And obviously, it looks like Griffin is on the hunt.
Griffin's definitely on the hunt.
Griffin is on the hunt, and it's like, and his brother Crosby, and just this whole thing that's going on here just feels like it's just brewing up talent. Now we've got like, there's just all this energy here.
Yeah, I
You know-
mean, the Groms around here, there's so many good Groms. Like,
There really is. Like Keone, what he's got going on with
Yeah.
his thing, and all these just Keone. I mean, just all this stuff, you know. I just feel really just super stoked to be from a town, have my roots in this town that just loves surfing so much and what we've done and who we are. And so I will ask you this. Here's another one. Who would be your top 5 favorite surfers of all time?
start off with Buttons, Jerry, you know, and Bertelman. I mean, growing up in that era to watch them, you know.
Absolutely. So Buttons, Jerry, Buttons, Kaluhi Okalani. Okay.
Yeah.
Phenomenal freedom on a wave, right?
Yeah, that was a thing. So when we
mean-
wanted to put a little more performance in our boards, you know, like I just remember his big rake fin and he'd push it halfway up the board. I'm like, I'm doing that.
Oh, and he
that's
was
like
so
the beginning
loose.
of
When he did the stingers?
yeah.
Yeah, and
And,
the
then
big-
he'd
the-
put the fin way
way
up.
up there.
He had these giant. The boxes were like 20 inches long or
He
something.
put it
They'd
way
be-
up there.
So I remember doing that, and I'm like, oh my god, that felt so good.
Yeah, because it's super loose.
You could do 360s.
At
and you're
will.
Like, oh my god,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
He did. He brought
That was
freedom.
kind of that was the beginning of my shaping career. Just being able to foil a fin and make the board work different. You're like, oh my god, this is cool.
That is so cool to think about how you can just configure a fin and get a different performance
Yeah.
and how quick you do it. I mean, that inspiration that it gave you to realize, well, hey, I can play God here a little bit. Not that
Yeah,
you ever thought it like that. I know I'm getting a little too happy with that. But I'm saying that you could actually play God in the sense you could literally create designs and fins and foils on fins and rails that could give people a whole different trajectory of experience.
Yeah, I remember sitting on the beach, chipping on my fin and reshaping it just in a totally work different. You're like,
go right back out and take off at Strand somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And you had to hike down and hang with the boys and just be like pulling off stuff on a wave that was that quick change.
Yeah, it was just that little bit of difference where you're like, oh, okay, we're in the right direction of like a little more fin design, a little more edge designs. And that was kind of the basis of it. A little flatter bottom, a little more concave. You know, my beginning of shaping, I mean, the planer kind of did what it wanted. I got control of it now, but before it's like it wanted to go wherever it went. You know, I had concave bottom before I knew what concave was.
Wow.
Whether I liked it or not.
What a thing that is, right? What concave. So I want to say all the way back to your dad's era, like they didn't have as much freedom to figure. I mean, boards were kind of stuck in a spot back then, right? He was kind of during the longboard era.
Yeah, but they still. Like my uncle was pretty short. I think he was 5'3".
Okay.
So he had, they call it, I think it was I forget what they called it, but he had really short boards.
Okay. Oh, really?
For the time. He had like a 7 foot. You know, no one had one like that.
No one had a 7 foot.
And they'd make their own boards out of scraps of what the bundles of.
That was left over from everything they were working on.
Yeah, so they'd be making balsa wood boards and all this,
glue it all together.
Glue all the pieces that were shipped with that and to make their own boards.
Oh my gosh, so cool. I mean, but really at one point, I think it was honestly with Buttons was kind of like a moment. That whole Bertelman, you know, not so much Jerry. I know Jerry was. You mentioned Buttons and you mentioned Jerry. I mean, that's a whole different thing. That's
and
the
Mark Richards. You got to throw in Mark Richards, Tom Thompson.
Okay.
I just remember when Free Ride. I was
Me too.
It was after Endless Summer where you're into that vibe. Then you just see rock and roll.
Full
like,
rock.
Oh my God,
Whoa.
I want to do that.
Yes, that was a moment. That was a seminal moment in the shortboarding energy.
I want to plant my foot on the nose and come out of a barrel and just do it.
Whoa, that was. I remember that when that came out too. I was a teenager and I watched it and it blew my mind. Completely blew my mind. I think I saw that at the theater up for Laguna Niguel. You know that one right there off the.
I saw it at. Miramar.
Oh, you saw it at the Miramar. Maybe I saw it there, but there was a couple movies I saw. Maybe I saw 2 Tickets to Paradise in the one up by, you know, right up there by Crown.
Yeah, Niguel
Theater right there off the Coast Highway. Kind of a trippy spot, but there was good movies there back then.
Yeah.
And of course, the Miramar, just like in Encinitas, they still have La Paloma Theater. In Huntington, they had the Surf Theater. You know, the surf movie thing. Oh my gosh. You know, that was such an energy culmination of just getting all stoked and then seeing all these designs. I mean, those guys.
I mean, you look at those movies; they captured such a time in surfing, like as well as all Herbie's and Lost movies. They captured a time that'll never be there again.
True.
And you look at some of them, like you look at some of the Lost videos, you're like. I just remember like these guys aren't for real, is it? You know,
but
like
it was because
it's everything I want to see, but are they going to release that to the public? I'm like, that's what I like to do, but can you show that? And I was so stoked.
Dysfunctional family.
And then you look at it and you're like, oh my God, it was so ahead of its time.
They were kind of showing something that the youth movement, you know, how they partied and how they lived, and you know, it was kind of a. Whoa, like, how's that going to work? But somehow it connected.
It connected with so many people.
With a generation.
You know, like.
It was rebellious.
Yeah.
And surfing essentially is a rebellious lifestyle. Essentially, surfers are anti-society. I mean, I think it's come a long ways to being pretty respected. It's an Olympic sport now, and there's, you know, it's different, right? But at the core. At the
core, it's still the same.
It's a rebellious thing to do.
It depends on how you live it. You know, I live it like. Core, try to just do it right, you know, like just jump in the water every day. I've been jumping in the water every day.
Good for you.
You know, and it's just nice to have that opportunity where building a career, not knowing I always wanted to work for somebody.
Okay.
I just want a job. I got paid really good at Hobie's always.
Okay.
I was a hot coater there, laminator, sander, then head shaper. And then working at a couple other shops. So I just remember I wanted a paycheck.
Yes.
And I went to McElroy's and it wasn't a paycheck.
No,
it's oh my God.
Now it's a little more like it becomes entrepreneurship.
Yeah. So I started my own shop and I always paid myself with a paycheck, taxes, everything taken. I wanted full legit.
What year did you start your shop?
91.
Okay. 34 years ago.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff.
That's my shaping room part. Then the glass shop is 30 years.
Okay, so you
This
got that in
November.
95.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and then it wasn't a couple of years after that. Dave and I got our spot across the street. We were doing a little Primal Pictures production thing, right next to Law. So we did that for a long time, and I did Primal Pictures for over a decade. And now I'm here doing Twin Palms Entertainment, and Dave still works with me. You know?
Yeah, I mean it's so cool to do this from the very roots of where I started, from my grandfather building boards or getting Army surplus. I don't know if they're surplus, they probably were, but the life rafts out of, I think Walter Hoffman was in the Navy in Honolulu, so he's building them.
Amazing.
I think they were covered with canvas. They'd strip them, and they were balsa wood. So my grandfather, he would cut them out, rough cut them out for Walter, and Walter would go shape them on the beach.
And this is,
so
we're talking moving on. What year? What do you feel like that was? 40s?
Late 40s, early 50s.
Early 50s. I want to say we're talking about 75 years ago in the big picture.
Well, it's kind of cool. I always trip out because I'm like, wow. Because Walter sat me down. He goes, you got to come over here. You got to sit down. And I'm like, okay. And he's very, and he just told me, he goes, you remember your pops? And I'm like, your grandfather? I'm like, oh, yeah. I go, yeah, I just remember he's a dirty old man. And but it was so cool because he just sat me down and told me his history of that part of that I didn't even know of. I'm like, no way.
That's really
and
cool.
Then to have my dad go through it, and my uncles, and then me, now my son.
Incredible. So we're talking four generations.
Yeah, it trips me out because I always thought it was just
surfboard craft
3.
building.
Yeah.
And now it's 4 because you found out about your grandfather, and now Keone's working for you. And
yeah.
Keone's how old now?
31.
Crazy. Oh yeah, my God. So he's literally the same age as brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you and Dino had your son's the same year. Boom.
They're on the same baseball team together, like T-ball. It's great.
Oh, so awesome. I mean, and
they're so funny.
So funny. And now Keone's shaping with you
and
looking to carry on the family legacy.
Yeah, like open more doors. He's got young eyes on it, and he's very articulate. He can articulate a board really good, and so it's really cool to have the next gen continue it.
4 generations. I'm thinking by this point it's cut into his DNA. Okay, I mean,
literally, he was like, I have some older pictures, and I'm looking in the background. I'm like, oh, look there's an old picture of me in my shaping room. I'm like, there's a fucking crib in there. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a little body. Oh, it's Keone in my shaping room. Mom would drop him off and
full blown
job. So it was cool.
It's in his DNA. It's in his cell. I mean, it's so perfect that he would come up under you and become, carrying it on because you're believing in what he's doing. So
yeah,
I mean, you back it like in terms of not even 100%. If you're just his dad, like you look at his lines and go, well, dude, you got this.
Well, he's got these new eyes on it, and the way he does stuff. I mean, if you looked at us both, we both shape the same, but. He's got his blocks for the nose, like I got blocks for the nose, blocks for the tail, this part of the board and this part of it. They're all
putting
different.
His touch on it.
And then to see his touch and to have it, like, I can't tell the difference between his and mine.
That's great.
And sometimes I grab his, I'm like, I like this feel better.
Oh.
Quite a bit.
Cool.
Like, I'll go grab a board out and redo it a little bit. I'm like, I want it to feel like this is my feeling. He's got my feeling down.
Now, is he putting out boards that are like, is it like they're Timmy board? Like, are people coming to get like Keone shapes, or is it like they're Timmy shapes, but Keone kind of your ghost shaper?
No, I would say,
is he like your ghost?
He's not a ghost.
Not a ghost, but you know what I mean.
It's a family business.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like
it's all one.
It's a Patterson family tradition. Nice. It's like it's a Patterson.
It's incredible.
I have him make my boards. I'm like, because I want to see what he's doing. I'm like, holy shit, he's kind of got it way wired, and to have that, in his bloodline. I mean, I've been taking. I just took him. We went to the Canary Islands a few months ago, and
cool.
It was cool to have him shape so much because I got to sit with the the customers to design and talk to them a little more what they want and design and then have him did like 160 boards, and he did.
In what amount of time?
Oh, like 10 days. We're there for 10 days.
Whew.
And he did like 125, and I did like 40.
Whew.
But it was cool to have someone, and I'd go down and check on them. I'm like, oh my God, these things are insane.
How do you like the Canary Islands?
It's
trippy,
killer.
Right? Yeah.
There's a bit of it's got a good local vibe.
I've heard it's very localized. I've heard it's very localized.
Very.
Have you surfed there much?
Not as much as I want. Last trip we didn't get to surf that much.
So busy, just 160 boards. You got work to do.
But no, there's a lot of. I mean, it's crazy. The waves are.
It's nuts there. I've seen a lot of footage.
There's a lot of North Shore-ish looking waves.
Yes,
like
very reefy, very rock. Just lava rock slabs. Not a lot of just easy. It looks like a gnarly, rugged. It looks like the moon there.
I mean, it does look like the moon.
Have you ever been to Cape Verde?
No.
I've heard just, little stories about Cape Verde. No one really talks about it. Very, very remote kind of place south of there, West Africa off the coast. But what also interests me too is, travel. Like, where have you been? Let's just finish with your top 5 real quick. So your top 5 was, tell me if I'm wrong, buttons, just right off the top. Boom, buttons, right?
Buttons. We got
Jerry Lopez.
Jerry Lopez.
For the obvious reasons, flow master of all time, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I love that you mentioned Larry Bertleman.
I mean, who didn't want to do a Bert?
Oh my gosh. Just. And then I believe you mentioned MR.
MR, yeah.
Iconic in every way, shape, and form. Twin fins, just ripping speed. No one ever surfed like that. And then Sean Thompson. Because Sean Thompson and what they did at that time was so groundbreaking in his energy. So I feel like, is that what we're throwing out there for? Because it's hard. You can get there's so many, right? But
yeah, there's so many. I mean, we can go current guys right now.
Okay.
I love the way Italo surfs. Yago, Alan Cleland. Like, that's one of our guys, and he's just nuts. Just like, oh my gosh.
It's so raw. Yeah, he gets brought up a lot. He's really he showed up on the scene. It just so everyone talks about him. It's amazing. People love the rawness and the truth and just what he's about and how he charges, and he's stoked. And
I mean, he grew up on a beach break that we dream of. Like when it gets big here, he's like, oh, that looks fun.
It's incredible.
You're paddling into 30-foot faces down in Mexico mainland, and
jeez,
like, okay,
those are raw situations.
How do you? And he's not getting toe assist. He's paddling, gets a wave, gets a bomb right, goes back out because he's way down the beach, gets a left, goes back to the spot, trolls the ocean.
Pretty
it's
amazing,
not often that I make like 8.2s, 7.4 guns and they get actually used regularly.
And that's what he's doing.
Like, hey, I made you. How'd it work? To guys, like, oh, I didn't get it in the water yet.
Yeah, well, he's broken 3
like,
of them already.
That thing works sick. It got under the lip. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Then he'll send me a video or I see something and I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I know. He's got a, there's something special about that kid, right? I mean, so definitely he's made a big splash on tour, and just everyone that talks about him, he's a real likable guy. So you mentioned Italo, Yago, is that right?
Yeah.
And then Alan, and then just, who kind of...
Oh, my God, who's next? I mean,
it's just, there's so much... I've seen some of these kids that, I see this Ariel, that this kid, Vaughn, Huey Vaughn or something?
Yeah, one of the Vaughn brothers. I'm not sure which one, but that was nuts.
Good God. Like, just the stuff they're doing in wave pools. I mean, I know they got to translate it and get in the water, in the ocean and all. I'm sure they are, but I'm just going, whoa, because they can practice stuff on a wave pool. Boom, when you're seeing stuff. You're going,
that's like what Italo's doing,
yes.
You're like, how do you do that many reps
all
day long?
And like Yago, too. They just popped this, like when Yago was at lowers and just the whole thing and what's happening is just kind of
he put on a show.
He put on a show.
I mean, like all the guys did. You just kind of...
Yeah.
How do you judge that nowadays?
I always say it when we're watching contests. I'm glad I'm not a judge.
I wouldn't want to be.
I wouldn't want to be a judge, but I got to say, I feel like there was a time when you would see judging and you'd see these calls and go, whoa, that's just... But I feel like I'm seeing better judging. If I want to say, I feel like I'm less often seeing stuff that makes me just go,
yeah, some
what?
of that you can... In person, so much different than on camera. Like, that guy ripped that. But you don't know that the other guys was 3 foot bigger on the face.
Yeah.
Live, like, well, that was kind of a solid wave.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, we get it more, and I think they get it more too. And I think we're seeing better general consistency of calls. Like we said, who would want to be a judge? And their job's got to be hard. Talk about your Joe Turpel, and we talked about it. That might be hard, 8 hours a day, but judging for hours and hours and trying to keep it like what? Whoa, that's just an incredible thing. But there's just so many ways to look at surfing through the eyes of the travel adventurer, or through the surfer that's somewhat competitive, or the surfer board builder that looks at the world through those eyes, and that's like such a really cool way to see the world through. I make the craft that you guys ride.
Well, sometimes
surf.
I trip out because, you get to all the newest newbie surfers. Here's what pisses me off about the newbies. You see it in their eyes, the Stoke, and you're like, fuck, I need that Stoke. How do they got it? And mine's dissipated a little bit. I got to get it. I got to be just as stoked as that guy.
Yes.
He's just, he's into it a couple of years, and he's got more Stoke than that's what I need, more of that. So
that's a cool thing.
Yeah, it's that
transference of stuff.
Yeah, like, how did I lose mine? And he's got it.
Well, I think it comes in ebbs and flows to some degree as you get older, right? I mean, we have, whoever that person is probably doesn't have the responsibilities that you have.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's easy to be super stoked when you're 15, 16, or 20 or whatever it is. But at one point, Bill, just everything that happens, you have a whole different mindset.
Yeah.
So to keep stoke is, man, if you can keep any, you're doing good.
Well, that's what I get every day, shaping. I'm going to leave here and go shape some boards and go jump in the water again. That's what's cool, And
I see it on you. I see the glow on you. I really do.
It's gave me a career. It's got me around the world. I mean, it's crazy. Been able to shape around the world and do what I do,
Yeah, like where have you shaped? So you mentioned Canary Islands.
Canary Islands.
Where have you been able to actually go?
Portugal, Brazil, Bali, amazing.
Such an amazing
Hawaii,
place.
of course.
Think about that. Now, not just traveling as a surfer looking for waves, but actually traveling employed, building boards all over the world for these markets.
Yeah.
Right? And being able to experience that place with an income.
Yeah.
How cool
is
that?
Like, wow. I'm not going to, when I come back, I come
more
back
money
with
than I
money.
left with.
I didn't drain my bank account.
Exactly.
You're like, wow.
I've always kind of dreamed of that as well. Traveling that sustains itself.
Bringing my son into that. That's like, I'm like, yeah, you can spend money, but you can also make money while you're doing it. So,
got to be the best, right?
Yeah. So I want him to. It's like a setup. You want to set your kids up for their best possible future.
That's a pretty good one. I mean, you could travel the world in shape and surf, and does there the business end of that? I mean, I think about it like if you're in different countries, is it you just get to make the money and just bring it back? I mean, I don't want to get too personal, but is it like is there a little bit of bureaucracy, like business licensing and all that? Can you just go there, shape boards, go give me the money, I'm out of here?
No, I generally runs through the business.
Oh wow, okay.
Because there are licensees that do them there already.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Don't want to backdoor it too much,
Yeah, no, I mean,
it's just like you gotta respect their countries when shaping it,
Super cool.
I mean, it's good to see different cultures of surf. I go to Portugal, it's different. Go to the Canary Islands, it's different.
Much.
Bali's like, I don't know. That's a different.
It's a different.
That's a different animal.
Different animal. When I went there, one of my boards broke or whatever happened, I forget. And I was looking for a board, and it was a total nightmare. I went to like all these shops, and I was going, these boards suck. Like when I was there with what was it like? It's been a while. It was 2007, I think, and was it? Yeah, and it was just I couldn't find a good board.
Wow. Yeah, I mean now you can. It's everywhere. Yeah, I mean it's so built up. Like first time I went there was 89.
Okay.
And it was amazing. Like I went back, 20 years later, I was like, whoa, what a difference. And, 6 years ago I was there and I was like, wow. And everybody's like, it's 100% different. I'm like, how could it change that much?
Well,
where I was, and it has.
Well, that place, wow. Think about the first guys that went to now. I mean, that's wow. What a shift,
it's like
Big shift.
I like the waves, but I'm not the college party attitude.
Exactly.
24/7, 365 days a week.
That place can.
Or year,
yeah,
you know?
for Cuda or Legion or all that, it gets
No,
pretty
it's
wild.
the whole deal.
Yeah.
It's like,
but there's so many parts of that part of the world too where you can just kind of jump off and be somewhere in the tropics and getting sick barrels and be away from that. But that place definitely represents it pretty. And now I hear it's all like taken over by Russians. I keep hearing this, but everyone says so many Russians there. I'm like, okay, like they say that about like all.
well, why would you want to sit in the cold or go to college? I think there was a college there,
Yeah,
so you can go.
and I think with the war they let a lot of Russians left with whatever, and it's not that far for them.
No,
And I just keep hearing it. They're going, wow, they own all the clubs. They own all the rest. They just came in just so. I was like, wow, that I don't remember. That wasn't there when I was there, but things shift. And I mean, and here we are back here. Let's come full circle. We're back in San Clemente. And we'll be serious. People, we were talking about it on previous episodes. Like there's a certain amount of the word I like to use for it is like gentrification in a sense, where we really had our core existence, and then little by little, it's such a beautiful place. People are going to come. It's just what's going to happen, right?
I mean, it was set up so early too. Like, I look back at it as like, wow, there's two men that really made surfing big, and it came out of Dana Point. It was Bruce Brown and Hobie.
Definitely.
They just did it.
On, definitely. Definitely. No one's going to deny that.
They made everything. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to go buy a boat. They're like, oh, let's go make a boat.
Yeah, Bruce Brown makes movies, traveling the world. I mean, they were such...
It was amazing.
They were amazing what they did, but they popularized the movement, and then the movement, everyone wanted to do that. And here we are now, and everyone's doing it. And they all come, and the houses are worth...
the coast was way more appealing.
I think so.
You're like, oh, there's stuff to do?
Yes.
You could sit on the beach and be in the water and surf.
Yeah. It was very magnetic, What are you going to do? But I mean, people like, hot rods and fast cars and motorcycles, they lived inland or whatever. But then a lot of people didn't really like that. They were stuck doing whatever. And then they saw this and went, okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah, it's like for me growing up in Dana Point, there's three things you did. You surfed, you BMX'd, or skateboarded.
Yeah.
And that was about it.
You're right. And a lot of people did all of it. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, that's what we all did, like, okay, let's go down let's go over to this guy's house. He's got a ramp. We're going to go skate it. Okay, dinner time over at the Pattersons. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that I wonder if we were to kind of just have a little bit of a moment and think about where things, as we wind down on our episode, let's talk a little bit about where we are now and where we feel like where things are going. I mean, none of us have a crystal ball, so we don't know. But like, we see, for instance, the tour went through these changes. Not that we're all about the tour, but you shape for people that are on tour, and it's like they went through this experimental stage of like how it was forever with, starting off in Australia, full heats all the way through to the end, all the way to pipe, and then they went through the shift the last few years where we did. The half
cutoff.
years, the cutoff's weird.
I've never been a fan of that. I always think about the first time I really watched it and was Nate Yeoman's. I'm like, they're coming back from Hawaii or wherever they were, and this guy doesn't get to show his stuff. He hasn't even been on
half a year.
Well, he's got 3 hours of heat time in the actual water, and he doesn't get to serve his home break.
Because I feel like this is what I feel like we might agree on, is that you spend your whole life trying to qualify.
Yeah.
And then you finally get to the big leagues. Or as they say in baseball, the big game or whatever. You're on the big leagues now, right?
Yeah.
You make the CT. And you only get to go half because maybe you don't. It takes a couple to click in. Maybe you're going to do better.
Just traveling
alone.
Give
me my year. Just give me my
nuts.
Year. I earned a year. Give me my year. Don't take it away from me halfway because I didn't click in yet. So I think we universally agree that the cutoff is something we'd like to see cut off.
I'm just glad the finals are at Pipe again.
Back at Pipe.
Like you work all the whole year just to surf that place.
An iconic wave that is a wave of consequence that could potentially go left or right.
Yeah.
Possibly. Never know on given days. But that it can create it really puts it all on the line.
You got to do everything.
You've got to do everything.
And you get a whole year to work up to that, to like, okay, I'm all the way in.
I'm on the
going
hunt
for it.
Yes. And then also just that feeling of like that, like, okay, so there was a few years where I think it was John won by Portugal. He already won.
Yeah.
Right. So that's like, okay. And then we were talking the other day about like, was it a Carissa? I feel like a couple years were like already so far ahead. She would already have won.
Yeah.
Right. But then whatever happened, she didn't do that. Whatever happened a couple years straight. Not taking anything against anything, whatever happened. Whoever won, it was all good.
It's got to be
Stephanie came up.
points.
It's got to be a cumulative point. This whole thing it's not a tennis tournament that stands on its own. It's the year of surfing. So I'm really happy to see it come back to what I believe is they're embracing that moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, everybody wants it that way. Who wouldn't, like, I don't know. Are they doing top 10 for next year?
So
for the finals? I wasn't sure.
Oh, I don't know. See, I don't know that part yet. You mean instead of 5, they might go to 10?
I'm not sure.
Oh, like a one-day thing like now? Because that just, like, I don't know. For me, I just look at it and go, I've always liked the idea that, the whole thing at the race. And unless someone does win early because they crushed it all year and they win before they go to pipe, well, hey, man, that's probably anticlimactic, but that dude's so rad, he deserves it anyway. So whatever, But if they actually all get to pipe, and there's if he places here and then he does, and you're watching with this whole level of excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so exciting. And someone could have been in like the 10th spot, but they possibly could. And then, they're making the heats and this guy dropped.
I think it's double points.
Yeah, I think it is points and a half or double.
Yeah,
one
something
of the two,
like that.
Yeah.
So
that'll give it some.
Yeah, so you got to really want it and you got to really show your stuff. You can't, especially pipe, you can't just like, as a walkthrough, it's lowers, it's going to be pretty butter.
It's going to be butter no matter what. I mean,
compared
to
that pipe, you got to put it all on the line and you got to be the best, world best.
And I love that it could be pipe and backdoor. I just love that possibility that on certain days, like what Slater did a couple years ago when he did that. It was just, just that when it could be, I mean, it's one thing when it's one, but like, with Slater and Andy.
Yeah.
That day.
Whoa.
Couldn't be more exciting than that, right?
Yeah, I mean that's a whole
gladiator pit.
Like
it's like a gladiator pit.
That's what you want to see.
Yes, and I think it'll bring back. I think it'll be a great thing for the sport. And I'd say, moving forward, anything that you look forward to, like with what you're doing in your life. I mean, is there, I know you're super stoked on what you and Keone are doing now, and
I think it's just keeping fresh, doing what I do. Is I'm stoked on. I've got to work with so many different humans and attitudes and cliques and I don't give a shit about any of it. It's more like, fuck, I get to work with that guy? That's so cool.
Totally.
You're like, wow. Like the Long brothers were so mellow and Parsons and Gurr, you're just like two opposites.
Those are some personalities.
Yeah, but to do the stuff that I got to do with those guys, and Andy and Bruce even, and those guys rock into town and you're just like, oh my God, they're in town.
It's such a
hang out, like, okay, I just surfed a tour, or they're surfing all winter in Hawaii, come to San Clemente, party their ass off and go crazy on all the board design. I mean, this is the design central, everything was in the water. Like, why those guys, it's kind of pumping lowers and they're riding a 5.5 fish. We'd make these fun boards for the, just around town, and they're like blowing up on them. You're like, oh, you could do that.
Because, we're talking about the best surfers in the world.
Yeah,
they're coming.
They don't want to ride their 6.0s or 6.1s at the time.
No.
At lowers, they're going to go, they just get to go nuts.
Nuts.
So you see that, and you're like, it's just, all your juices flow with shaping.
Very inspirational.
It just goes into these hands, onto a blank, straight into a trigger, into a planer, and you're like, I got to do one.
And it's cool. It's like, who knows where it's going? Like no one knows. But I feel like
no, it seems like there's San Clemente, Dana Point's gone through so many changes, and we can put a bad spin on it or a good spin. I like the spins. I mean, hey, there's a lot of things I would change, but then there's a lot of things they're doing that you're like, that's pretty sick.
Pretty cool, yeah. It's good to look at the positive for sure.
Yeah.
It keeps the stoke, right? And the negative we probably can't do much about anyway, right? So why be bitter? You know, just
Why
be
beat your
stoked.
head
Yeah,
over,
exactly.
yeah.
Why be just? We have every reason to be stoked. Look where we live. It's a beautiful place. I mean, there's a lot of people here now, so
Yeah.
it's kind of crowded, right? It's very crowded, but I mean,
I just see a lot of Stoke Groms.
there's a lot of stoked groms.
You're like, okay, wow, that's cool. I put that board under his feet. Or, you know, that family's so stoked. They don't even know what surfing is yet, and they're just hyped.
And what I feel like sitting with you and knowing you for so long is that you really are stoked. Like I
Yeah.
see it in your eyes. I see it in your skin. I just see it, this youthful glow. And that youthful glow comes from your stoke. And you just got out of the water this morning.
Yeah.
And you're going to go shape boards. And I feel like that energy is really magnetic. I mean, I just feel like that's what it's all about. From start to finish, the whole surf thing
Yeah.
is about stoke. You know, so you're either stoked or you're not. And you're definitely stoked, mister.
Yeah,
I feel it.
That's how I grew up too, you know, from my dad. You know, like I'd bring my friends over to my house, and they come over and like, hey, what's going on at your dad's house? I'm like, oh, he's cooking a pig in the backyard, because he'd do the full traditional
Kahlua pig.
Kahlua pig in our backyard. He'd dig a hole, go. You know, I look at it now and I'm like, okay, so he was in like his 30s, late 30s. They got cases of beer. They're drinking beer all night and bearing a pig, holding it out the next morning. And it was just insane. And my friends would come over and they'd trip their balls off. It was just like, what is that? I'm like, that's a pig. Like, no way.
Yeah, here, well, that wasn't a big thing here. I mean, that's
Yeah.
yeah. And the neighbors were like, God, what smells so good? You know,
Oh, totally.
Gosh, just coming over. Can I
My
have
dad
this?"
would walk around with plates of food, go to the neighbors, and there you
Just
go.
super stoked. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny.
But I mean, that's kind of what I mean. I feel like if I can do anything with my shows to try to basically put a mirror and a lens on what really is where it's at, and where it's at is, you know, I'm just trying to bring in stoked people, whatever
Yeah,
they do,
it
loving
is.
what you do.
It is definitely sharing the stoke,
Yes.
you know, and to have a platform like yours to do it with, oh my God.
Yeah, man, I'm just really honored to be able to do that and to be able to take my passion and be able to share other people's passions. Because what the cornerstone of Talk to the Doctor is about is talking to people that just love what they do. You know,
Yeah.
So we talk to surfers, shapers, artists, musicians, you know, filmmakers, you know, all kinds of different people, different walks of life. But the bottom line is, you see in their eyes, they love what they do. Because
Yeah.
I'm probably not going to be talking to, I mean, I don't know, maybe an accountant loves what they do. Nothing against that. But I just feel like that I'm not magnetically drawn to people that aren't just psyched, you know?
Yeah, controversy and all that shit. It's just like, who cares about it?
Yeah.
It's like,
We're too busy being
it's
stoked.
like a blip or you're stoked all day, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, if I get frustrated, I'll go jump in the water. I'm like,
It
I gotta
cleanses you every time.
I'm out of here. My manager knows it. And I'm like, I'm jumping in the water, go cruise, check out the waves, paddle around. You're like,
Well, let me tell you something about this.
and you're like, totally forget about it. I'm like, I don't even know what was going on. I don't even
Yeah,
care.
it's like a
Doesn't even
baptism.
matter.
It cleanses you.
Yeah.
You know? And I mean, I feel like what I can say is that, you know, I'm stoked to have you on my show, and because we're stoked to be stoked. Timmy,
All right,
Awesome,
man. Thank
man.
you, KV.
so stoked to have you on the show, man.
Yeah.